Band power. All right, so we're going to talk about the power of bands, different ways you can utilize them. There are a bunch of different ways you can use them. And then we're going to show you a bunch of different movements you can do and give you 3 workouts at the end that you can use to improve your own general fitness.
All right, so one thing to remember about resistance bands, so I'm going to have Ty hop back here. So with free weights, like something like a deadlift, the resistance is going to be the hardest at the bottom of his lift, whereas with a band, the resistance is going to be the hardest at the top of the lift, where there's the most tension in the band. And because of that, those two can be very good at complementing each other. So Ty's going to talk about that.
All right, so if you didn't want to follow our program and just wanted to improve your own program, you can always add bands to your lift to kind of take advantage of that strength curve. So for example, if you wrap a band around your barbell, step on it, and perform some deadlifts with that, you can make full utilization of the science.
All right, so bands can also be used as indirect resistance. So for example, with something like the squat, a lot of women have an issue with their knees falling in as they do a squat. So to kind of correct that, you can put a band around your knees and then squat just like that. And it'll kind of give you that external cue where you can feel that you need to push your knees out.
All right, another cool thing about resistance bands is that you can actually use them as an unstable surface. So if you have a band anchored across 2 different points like this, so if you can perform something like a rear foot elevated split squat with a band behind her rear foot, this just forces her to put all her tension into that front leg. All right.
All right, so another thing you can do with bands is use them for assistance. So an example of that would be if you're doing pull-ups. So imagine this is a pull-up bar that you're going to be doing pull-ups on. You want to attach the band just like this, and then you can put your feet into that band. As you do those pull-ups, it'll help push you up and give you some assistance.
All right, so today all these workouts that we have written for you, just in case you're doing a lot of your homework, a lot of your workouts at home, we're going to be taking advantage of the direct resistance. So we're going to be utilizing a band and pulling on the bands directly in order to create that force. So just like a bunch of those things that we described earlier.
So the nice thing about bands is they're very versatile. So you can kind of do these workouts anywhere. And there's also so many different workouts that you can do with them. So we're going to talk about, we've created a list of a bunch of different exercises for you guys to work with, and Ty's going to talk about those.
All right, so intelligent and scientific exercise programming generally deals with all the main and primary movement patterns. So we're going to go through these, each with different movements you can do, and then put them together at the end. The first one we're going to do are knee dominant movements, and these are like your squats, all right? So let's see what the first movement is. Boom, front squats. So Sophie's going to stand inside the band. She's going to get under it, so she's going to get her elbows inside and through and get into this front rack position where the band is on the front of her shoulders. And then utilizing this direct resistance, she's going to sit down into her squat and stand back up. All right, cool. We're going to do a couple of reps of that. All right, the next movement is the bandstand split squat. So she's going to put the band under her front foot, grab it with both hands, and then perform some split squats. So she's in a split stance, basically lunges, but you're not stepping. And again, we're utilizing the concept of direct resistance. Up next, we have a dynamic rear foot elevated split squat. So dynamic is the term we're going to be using to kind of talk about the instability. She's going to put her rear foot on that band, squat down over the front leg, and stand up. Go ahead and do a few reps of that. And again, the purpose of this is to challenge how much weight she's putting on that front leg. If you want to make it a little bit more athletic, get a little bit more powerful with it, she can also add some jumps in there. Boom! The power of bands. All right. We got one more movement before we get into hip dominant, and I got to turn this page. After that, we got some TKEs. So we're going to find an anchor. That's where you're going to solidify where the band is, so putting it somewhere. She's going to stand inside the band. And TKE just stands for terminal knee extension. We use the letters because it's easier to remember. And she's just going to allow the band to pull her knee forward. She's going to press into the ball of her foot and extend the knee. This is really good for working on knee strength and stability. Cool. Let's go ahead and get into hip dominant movements.
All right. So with our first hip dominant movement, we've got banded good mornings. So he's going to wrap this band around his neck and put it underneath his feet. And then he's going to focus on keeping his back really nice and straight. And then the lower part of his legs is going to stay right where it is. And his back or his butt is going to go back as if he's trying to hit something behind him. And his knees only bend as much as they need to for his hips to go back. So the next exercise we're going to talk about is banded RDL. So it's going to be the same kind of motion, but where you're holding the band is going to be different. So he's going to stand on top of it and then grab it in the center. And then he's going to pull straight up and push his hips through. Just like that. All right, next we've got bandstand deadlift. So he's going to start off the same way. And this top part of the motion is going to be the same as that RDL. But in the beginning, he's just going to come straight up, and then he'll do that RDL. Yeah. All right. So next, we've got
What do we got?
bandstand suitcase deadlift. So this is the same motion as before, but instead of standing and grabbing from the center, he's going to stand closer together, and then he's going to grab on the outside. Straight up. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
And next we've got banded glute bridge. This one's a little awkward to get into, but I'm going to have him sit down, and then he's going to put it around his feet first. And then he's going to bring his knees up and put that band around his hips. And then he'll lay back and then try to keep his pelvis in a neutral position the whole time. And then he's going to drive his hips straight up. Yeah, this one's great for your glutes. All right, so next we've got pull.
All right. When it comes to pull, our first movement is the Cobra Row. So what I'm going to have Sophie do is she's going to go find that band with the anchor and lie in a prone position or on her stomach. And we want to make sure she's far enough from the band so that with her arms fully extended, there's tension on the band. All right? From here, she's just going to lift her chest up off the ground and perform a row. All right? This is very similar to a pull-up move, but it's going to be a lot less intense. So this will help you kind of work your way up to performing a pull-up. All right? Going to perform a couple more reps with that. After that, she's going to roll over onto her back. And we're going to perform some lying lat pull-downs with a single arm. So again, from here, she's just going to pull her elbow down into her pockets and work the same muscles that you're going to be using for a pull-up. All right. From there, we're going to talk about band-assisted pull-ups, which we kind of mentioned before. But basically, you're just going to wrap a band around the top of a pull-up bar. You're going to put your legs into it, and it's going to assist you on your way up. All right?
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Next, we've got rows. So the first one in our rows is bandstand bent over rows. So he's going to start off the same way he did for those suitcase deadlifts. And then he's just going to pull his arms straight up. Good. So notice how his hands kind of come towards his ribs. All right. So next, we've got bandstand kayak rows. And so this is where he's going to drop that. And then he's going to spread his feet out a little more. He's going to grab in the center with both hands. And then he's going to pull to one side. So notice how he keeps his back nice and flat. And he's just slightly rotating, not a whole lot of rotation there. And then next, we've got band pull-aparts. So he's going to step off of that band and then grab it kind of in the center like that with his palms facing up. And he's going to pull straight out. Yeah, this is great for your back and your shoulders. Yep. All right, so next we've got press.
All right, for presses, the first one we're going to be doing is an overhead press, which we've conveniently called OHP. She's going to go ahead and stand into the band in the same position that she would do a front squat. And I'm going to breathe. Overhead press. So from here, she's going to stand up tall, and she's going to drive her palms towards the ceiling. Important thing to note here while she does these reps is that her elbows end up in front of her body, and she corkscrews her palms towards the ceiling. Cool. After that, we're going to go into a half kneeling overhead press with one arm. So the single arm half kneeling overhead press. She's going to have it under her front leg. Her arm is going to be in the same position as that front squat, and she's just going to corkscrew up and press upward. After that, we have the X raise. So the X raise. She's going to hold the band in both hands pretty close together. She's going to pull with straight arms over her head in kind of an X fashion, so a little bit apart, and then bring them back together behind her. And this is the X raise. Boom, there it is. So the key here is to go slow and controlled. Think almost like shoulder dislocates with the PVC pipe if you've done those before. Great for range of motion and mobility of the shoulder. All right. After this, we're going to go into push movements. Sophie?
All right, so with the push movements, we're going to start off with banded push-ups. So what he's going to do is he's going to put this band around his hands and then bring it around his back, and he's just going to do regular push-ups. So this is going to make your regular push-ups a little bit harder. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So next, he's got dynamic push-ups. And so that's when you bring in that instability. So he's going to come over here and just do his push-ups on that band. So he's really working his stabilizer muscles with those. All right. So next, we've got alternating crossover. So you'll want to find an anchor or have a buddy do this for you. So he's going to put it around.
I'm going to grab one with each of my hands.
He's going to turn around, and then he's going to push straight out.
And then we're alternating, right? Boom.
Good. So yeah, one hand at a time.
Band power.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so next we're going to talk about mini bands.
Mini bands. So like the large bands, but minier, right? We're going to grab a mini band. She's going to put it around her ankles, and we're going to go through something called the X walk. Now she's just going to go back and forth across your screen here.
So one thing to remember with these is that the higher you put it up on your legs, the easier it's going to be. And then the lower you put it down, the harder it's going to be. So we'll put it down here.
All right, and she's going to maintain tension on the band even when her feet are close together. And she's just going to step diagonally, bring them together, and step diagonally, kind of in an X pattern. All right, make sure you do go both directions for the prescribed reps. All right, after that, we're going into side steps. So again, with the band around her ankles and or knees, she's just going to go side to side. Side steps with the mini band. After that, we got a 6-point toe tap. So with the band around her ankles, she's just going to sit into a deep squat, and she's going to tap 6 different points. So front, side, and back, but with each foot, right? So 6 different points of contact with the floor. Just stepping, sitting as low and deep in that squat as she can. And then after that, we have the next segment, which is core stuff.
Yeah, so next we're going to talk about core. And the first movement we have here is the V-crunch. So this is one you're going to want to do with an anchor. And then Ty's just going to put this around his feet. And then, so he's going to come back and then pull his knees in.
Get some more tension, more band power.
Just like that. And if you want to make this harder, you can move the arms up and then in as you come back in. And then next, we've got
what do we got?
bird dog.
Bird dogs.
All right. So this one you can either do with an anchor and have it just around your foot, or you can be your own anchor and put it on one hand, and then he's going to come down to all fours. So notice how he put that on the opposite side of his hand and leg, and then he's just going to come straight out with those arms. And notice how he kind of keeps his back pretty flat. You don't want to be arching. You want to keep your core nice and tight for this one. All right, and then next, we've got wood chops.
Wood chops.
So he's going to come over to one of these higher anchors.
Oh yeah, higher anchor.
And then he's going to get into a lunge position. And he's going to come straight across his body. Just like that.
Important thing here too is I'm going to keep my chest facing forward, moving the arms, trying to resist the rotation.
Yeah, so this is kind of an isometric motion for the core. All right, so next we're going to talk about sports movements.
Sports movement. So improving speed, improving agility. We're going to start off with sprints. So with an anchor or a buddy, Sophie's going to run out so she's got some tension on the band. Go ahead and run out, get some tension. And then we're just going to go into high knees. Yeah, and we're going to go for the prescribed amount of time. Well, we're not, but you are. All right. After that, we're going to go into plate. Go and hold that. We're going to go into plate footwork. So we got a plate or a small box, a step. You can do this on a lot of different things. We're going to hold it from the side. She's going to stand above the center of the plate. So going to stand above the center of the plate. She's going to put one foot on, one foot off, and just bounce back and forth. I'm going to do this on both sides for the prescribed amount of reps. So I will go to the other side and do it again. Up next is 2 on, 2 off. She's just going to go all the way over the top and all the way back. Boom, boom, boom. Footwork, speed, agility, quickness, band power. All right? Again, do both sides for the prescribed amount of reps.
All right, so with all of these exercises we've taught you guys, we've created 3 different workout programs that you can do. So one is for performance. So, whew, I'm out of breath. All right, so performance is going to kind of increase your athletic ability. And then strength, that one's obvious. And then hypertrophy, that's going to increase your muscle size. So for hypertrophy, you're going to want to do 8 to 12 reps of these same exercises. And then endurance is going to be more toning, and then, I know I'm breathing hard.
Your capacity to do work, right?
Exactly.
And that's going to be on the higher end of that rep range, so more 12 to 15 reps. All right? So what we got also as well, if you're going to perform any of these exercises, you always want to start with a quality warm-up, which we have written over here. The warm-up is only 2 sets worth, so you're going to go through all of these movements twice in order, and then you're going to move on to your workout. As far as the workouts, they're all going to be 3 sets. You have your reps prescribed on the side, and then for the performance side of things, your prep work, the Ps, are going to have their own sets according with them or associated with them, right? So if you're going to look at this thing, you're going to look at it, how many sets you got to do, how many reps you got to do, and then your goal or your objective is going to be listed at the top. If you want to work all of these workouts, feel free to do that as well.
So if you want to go back and actually perform these workouts, we're going to zoom in now and kind of have these up so that you can see it. And then you can go back through the video to where we held up those papers so you can see what those exercises look like.
Yeah, band power. Thank y'all for checking
Thanks
out
for
the
watching,
webinar.
guys. Woo.
And yeah, enjoy it. Have fun. Be safe.